ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest episode of the Sports Ballers podcast. My name is Eric Meyer. I am joined by Corey Puffett and Evan Ash. As always, gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing great. I thought that I would be doing worse, not having a Sunday night football game this past weekend, but it was actually kind of nice for a change. I know it's a staple of the NFL, but not having a Sunday night game I was okay with it this week.
Oh. I mean, if there was a Sunday night game, I fell asleep on it, so I nodded off. I'm doing pretty well. Feeling nice and rejuvenated. I took a week off of work last week. I don't know, getting here, the traffic was terrible and the weather was even worse, but overall doing pretty good.
Well, I'm doing okay too, and let's talk about that mysterious non-existent game that none of us seem to remember. Corey seemingly has memory hold it for
what game?
Intentional reasons. Evan
I
fell
was
asleep,
snoozing
and I
out.
was drunk. So, actually, I was actually fine. But
no,
I did have a couple beers. But
in all seriousness, it was obviously a very ugly game. I did not get to watch it as closely as I would have liked to because for a lot of reasons, but I've been very busy this past week, and so I was doing a lot of work during the game. But I got to at least watch the last quarter roughly of the game, and it just
that's the part I fell asleep on.
The Lions never got it together. We got the big touchdown to Jameson Williams, and at that point I thought, okay, we're going to get this figured out. Their defense is kind of stalling us right now. They're playing really well, but this offense is going to come out in the second half, and we're going to roll them the way that I thought we were going into this week. And it just never happened. Jared Goff went from being pretty ineffective in the first half to being completely ineffective in the second half, and some of that was his fault. A lot of it was the offensive line's fault. If you were to take the 5 smallest freshmen at DeMatha right now, they would have blocked better than our offensive line did on Sunday night.
Oh,
you don't go from being the NFL's most accurate quarterback to completing 2 of your last 18 passes without something outside of your own personal control playing a factor in that. So not to let Jared Goff completely off the hook, because he also got very rattled and was very inaccurate at that point. But there was a reason why he was rattled, and it was because he was running for his life all night. He very rarely got a clean pocket, and when he did, I would say that he completed his passes at roughly the clip that he has been this season. Not all of them were pretty, but he was getting them to where his receivers could catch them. But all game, you got passes that are hitting the dirt 2 yards in front of Amon-Ra St. Brown, a pass that's a yard and a half behind him as he's running a crossing route. It just was not working. And for whatever reason, in the fourth quarter, we went completely away from Jahmyr Gibbs, who had been carving them up. He was eating the Eagles for lunch, and we just went away from him in the later part of the second half. And as much as I would love to say it, the bogus defensive pass interference call at the end of the game was the knife in our back, the reality is we would have gotten the ball back, and we probably would have gone 3 and out and then failed on fourth down for a 6th time. So
it was a rough sledding going on. Y'all kept going for it on fourth down and not getting it. I was like, man, this is tough.
Where was this in week 3?
Because all of those fourth down decisions were the correct call to go for it. The problem is, chances are if you can't pick up a first down after 3 downs that frequently, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of success with one more play.
And it's tough because the idea of going for it on fourth down aggressively, you expect that you're not going to get it every time. And sometimes you might have 2 or 3 straight that you don't get it. But the idea is that overall those numbers are going to even out, especially when you're a good offense, in your favor. You're going to convert more than 50% of those is your expectation. And so the ones that you don't get are going to be offset by the ones you do get. The problem is we didn't get any of them on Sunday night.
Wasn't happening. You talked about, Corey, Jared Goff getting rattled. That is something, though, that does happen to him.
It does.
It's his track record.
Absolutely.
And it's sort of a flaw of his game that's sort of... I'm not saying that Jared Goff is going to be the reason that the Lions don't win the Super Bowl.
No, but that's like the one true flaw in his game. Everything else that you might say that he's not as good as other quarterbacks at, he does something that makes up for it.
Right.
But when he gets rattled, he has a tendency to turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It was reminded me of when he was with the Rams and why the Rams got rid of him. Playing outside. This game was in Philadelphia, outside in the cold. He looked a little shaky.
The Lions' offensive line has been a little bit underwhelming all season too. Like it's kind
that's
of been,
also a problem, right? It's a team game still.
This was a game where they just looked
quarterback
terrible.
looked
And
not great.
credit to the Eagles, though. Like, the Eagles' defensive line was also a big factor in why the
Also,
offensive
the
line
Eagles are
stank.
good.
Yeah,
They're a good defense.
one of the best
They're-
defenses in the league. Yeah,
They're a good team. I'm still waiting to see the offense and the defense have a good game in the same week. If that happens, this is the Super Bowl favorite.
of course.
Yeah.
We saw them do it last year where their offense was a little bit off for most of the regular season. It was just hand the ball to Saquon, and Jalen Hurts didn't really play a big role. But we saw what happened when Hurts was able to have success passing against the Commodes and against the Chiefs, and it was blowout city in both games. So,
And one thing about this season that is simultaneously frustrating and also extremely exciting. It's frustrating because it makes it harder for us who claim to have some expertise in understanding who's good and who's bad. But it's also exciting that every good team seems to be equally capable of having absolutely disastrous weeks at any given time.
Oh.
We saw the Bills have a great week this week despite having all these players out. You have Keon Coleman being punished for missing a team meeting on Friday. He's a healthy scratch. You have Dalton Kincaid, who's out with an injury. You have Khalil Shakir, who should then be the number one receiver in the league for the week, end up with negative points in our league because of a penalty and like one catch for -3 yards. You have Dawson Knox didn't really do a whole lot. You have some guy named, what was it, like Tywin or something like that.
Tywin Lannister? Like, what are we
That's
talking
why I'm
about
thinking
here?
about Tywin or Tyrell, whatever his name is. I've never heard of this guy before, and he has a monstrous game with 2 touchdown catches. You have Josh Allen go for 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns as they absolutely who were they even playing? I don't
Tampa
even
Bay,
remember.
wasn't
it? Tampa Bay.
They were playing Tampa Bay, a good team, and they demolished them a week after they looked horrible against the
They
Dolphins.
lost to the Dolphins.
So, like, any team can be great one week and horrible the next week, and then turn around and be great the next week. The playoffs are going to be completely unpredictable. Who knows what's going to happen?
I mean,
that's fun, but it's
that's
also
why we love this
frustrating
sport, right?
Because I want a team to just be like, yeah, we're good, and you can't convince us otherwise. Right now, I can convince every good team in the NFL that they're a fraud.
Well, there's
A lot of them are. Yeah.
looking at your Baltimore Ravens
Yes.
over there too.
Okay,
Yeah,
like,
looking
their
very
their
fraudulent.
Their record at least like shows that they're not that good. They still
Sure.
have a losing record.
They're 5-5.
5-5.
So
Oh, okay.
they just got back to 5.
They don't have a winning record.
That's right. And I mean, it's more about the fact that they struggle busted against the Cleveland Browns, and Lamar probably had his worst regular season game in about 5 years. So
Oh, it was
he
horrible.
was brutal.
In our league, where we penalized for pick sixes, he had less than a point. in fantasy.
That pick six wasn't Lamar's fault at all.
That's
No, it
true.
wasn't.
Pick six wasn't.
No,
Right?
it wasn't.
Completely, utterly clanked by Keaton Mitchell. Just lob right in. It's like, you know what? I want the defensive guy to get it
even
instead.
if you take those 2
That aside.
interceptions off his ledger, he didn't play a good
I'm
game.
talking about LeBron. Lamar didn't play very well.
It was in Cleveland.
He played a brutal game. But the Ravens pulled off the win again. We don't even have them on our list today. But again, I said it on the chat in all caps. Todd Monken finally called a cool play when it mattered. With the fake tush push with Mark Andrews running the ball for like 30-yard touchdown.
Something like that, yeah.
Like it wasn't like they were on the goal line. It was a hell of a play. But so let's move on to another big game that happened, a divisional matchup between the Chiefs and the Broncos, where Denver was able to eke out a win against Kansas City at
And
home.
the refs.
And the refs played their part as they usually do when the Chiefs are involved. But they won. I think the final score was they won by 3. That's all I remember.
12-9 or something.
It was a little better than that, but
yeah.
there were at least 2 touchdowns scored.
One by each team.
Yeah, by each team or
Okay.
combined. Yeah,
This
so-
game was on at
I think
4:25 beside the Ravens game, so I didn't see very much.
I think it was like 22-19.
Yeah,
something
something
like
like that. I was watching.
I know
both
the Broncos
games.
had like 5 field goals.
All I know from this game is from what y'all said in the chat about the refs and everything.
Yeah,
No, the refs absolutely tried to help the Chiefs out.
they had like the Chiefs' offense got more than 100 yards of penalties, including 2
Jeez.
very long pass interference calls.
Oh,
One-
they got helped out by penalty.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what we're. Yeah.
Yeah, one which was very ticky-tack, like barely any contact, but they threw the flag because Mahomes was spraying deep balls all over the place again, looking absolutely horrible. And then another one where Mahomes underthrew it by about 7 yards, but the receiver came back to it. The corner didn't know what he was doing, so he just grabbed the guy and he got the cheap call there.
I hate that is a pass interference. Under
Yeah,
the rules.
it's frustrating.
Because as a defender, there's really nothing you can do in that situation. Even if you turn your head, you can't find the ball that is falling 7 yards behind you. What are you supposed to do? You have perfect coverage, and so you get a pass interference called against you because the quarterback recognizes your perfect coverage and throws a
duck.
purposefully uncatchable ball. The only way that the receiver can catch it is to go through the defender who has a right to the space that he's holding.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but
I
Riley
agree.
Moss also didn't do himself any favors because he just straight up grabbed the guy.
Some of these defenders, they get beat and then panic. And it's like,
He
you know
was-
what, just
but
grab them.
He wasn't really even beat that badly on the play, though, so that was the frustrating part. But
Or they just panic.
outside of the ref assist there, Patrick Mahomes looked terrible in this game. And he looked terrible the last time we saw him against the Bills. This team's 5-5 right now. And
they don't have the tiebreaker against any of the teams that they're
Except the
potentially
Ravens.
going to be in a deadlock for a wild card spot.
But the
with.
Ravens aren't really a viable wild card team anyway. Their path to the playoffs is strictly through the division. They're not going to be a wild card
No.
team.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs have to chase, like Corey mentioned, they have to chase down the Bills right now, who beat them. The Jags, who beat them.
What?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
That can't possibly be what the truth is. Are you kidding me?
The Jaguars
Jags
are currently a playoff team. Yes.
They're 2 games ahead of the Chiefs right now.
They're
is
a
that
game
right?
and a half.
Game and a
7
half.
and
Okay.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew they had 7 wins. I couldn't remember if they had already had their bye week.
Never mind. They're 6-4. The Chargers are 7-4. I got those mixed up.
Okay.
But let me say this: the Jaguars
whooped the Chargers.
and they still get to play the Titans twice.
Oh.
And the Jets.
Oh.
And they play the Cardinals this week. So,
Oh.
So 10 wins is
Very
In the
possible.
bag.
possible. Yeah. So
I would almost say likely.
I would say
Guaranteed.
their toughest game among those is probably at Arizona this week because they can be a little bit sparky at times.
Yeah.
But they should probably get to 10 wins. The Chargers are 7-4. They're a bit of a mess, but they've got winnable games. They play Dallas. Dallas sucks. They play Houston. Houston has no offense. That's possibly a win. And they get another game against the Raiders. They probably get to 10 wins. So the Chiefs, realistically, if they go 5-2 the rest of the way to get to 10-7, that might not be good enough to get them into the
No,
playoffs.
they might be the first team out.
Wow.
I mean,
That's unfortunate.
I still think they make it because I think that one of those teams messes
Is
up.
anybody here willing to bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Well, no, of course not. But this is probably the first time we've ever been. Absolutely, is the first time that we've been this late in the season where we're like, they might not make it.
Nick Wright was damn near having a meltdown.
He put his hair in a ponytail for some reason.
He's been having a meltdown with that hairdo for 5 years.
Yeah, but
to be fair.
But normally,
Gotta fix that.
I kind of like his hair. It's him, whatever. The
It looks
ponytail
terrible.
wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah, his wife is his stylist in that regard. So I do like his fits though. He wears interesting suits. He's very
got
very
the
well.
He's
dressed.
no Lewis Riddick.
Oh yeah, he's not. Well, Lewis Riddick dresses sharply.
He's one of one.
Yeah, but Nick dresses a little bit more eccentrically, but not quite like Saul Goodman level crazy. But he's got a little bit more of a a hipster vibe to his thing, whereas Lewis Riddick is just the king of the
Crispy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's classy.
So let's talk about Denver though a little bit because they are in first place. They're 9-2 now. They've got a stranglehold of the division, especially now that they've got a leg up on the Chiefs with a tiebreaker plus a 3-game lead. And the Chargers who do have a win over them, are kind of drawing dead a little bit with their offensive line issues. It feels like Denver's got this division.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the defense was not nearly as good as advertised at the start of the season, but it's really gotten it together. It looks fantastic now. The offense, which was lighting it up early in the season, Now it's
terrible
kind of
now.
leaving something to be desired.
Yeah.
But they're getting it done. Like, they're doing enough to win these games. They're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. That is outside the realm of possibilities. There is a 0.0% chance that the Broncos win the Super Bowl this year.
Are you sure?
There's a 0.0% chance they make it to the Super Bowl this year. I'll go that far.
Jeez.
But they could be in the AFC Championship.
So you're
And hosting it.
You're that confident that they're going to
Yes.
lose a home game at this rate?
Yes.
Because that's probably what's going to need to happen.
Yes.
To like Buffalo?
Yes.
Maybe the Bills could beat them. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe your Baltimore Ravens could beat them. Never mind. No,
The-
they can't.
No, the Ravens are gonna, they're gonna
Are y'all going to be in the Shakey's game?
I would pick
hosting the Shakey's
I would
game.
pick either the Bills or the Colts to go into Denver.
The
and win that
Colts.
Well,
I
the
don't
Colts
trust
don't-
the Colts to
the
go
Colts
to
don't have worry
Indianapolis
about
and
that
win any
necessarily
games.
because they have the tiebreaker over Denver at the current time.
That's true, too.
So we'll see.
No,
We'll
that-
see if the Colts can actually keep winning
The
games.
the Colts are
Colts have
number
the
one
MVP.
in fraud watch
The
for me.
Colts have the MVP on their team.
I hate to break this to you, Corey, but Jonathan.
It's
Taylor-
not
Jonathan Taylor is going to win
Is it
the
Danny
MVP.
Dimes? Like what?
He's the only player in the NFL who has not had a pumpkin game this season.
Okay. But he
He's kind
plays
of bad
running
against
back.
the Steelers.
Was he?
I mean,
I don't remember him being
Everybody
a
was
pumpkin.
bad.
he
against
didn't
the Steelers.
grasp the ball. I don't think he wasn't one of the 6 turnovers they had. I think most of those were dimes. But again, I'm sorry, Jonathan Taylor's not going to win the MVP. Even though I would love to see it, it's just the nature of the beast. It's going to be a quarterback. It's probably going to be Matt Stafford at
Pissed
this
me
rate.
off. It could be. That's true. Like
Yeah.
Matt Stafford is the one. He didn't have a great game this week, but they were playing against a good defense. Matt Stafford could
He's
potentially
definitely
be the
a
one to
candidate.
sneak in there.
So let's talk about that game now, because since we just opened that door. So Seahawks Rams, probably the marquee game of the day. Both teams I think they were both 8-2 coming into this game. They both had 2 losses. I know that.
I think they were 7-2 going.
Okay, but the Rams eked out the victory. Seattle was unable to connect on a lengthy field goal to try to win it at the gun. I think it was a 61-yard attempt that Jason Myers missed.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that close, but whatever. It's 61-yard. You can't expect that to go through. I realize everybody makes every kick nowadays, but you can't always get them to go through the uprights. So very, very competitive game. This game was won, or depending on your perspective, lost by the fact that Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions, which is something that we kind of have always had in the back of our head with Sam Darnold. Even last year when he was great for pretty much the entire season, was a Pro Bowler, but then had 2 ugly games when it mattered the most. And then here, this is the biggest game of the year against division rival. They're effectively tied with the Rams going into the game. This has huge implications to see not only who gets that, gets the division control, but also maybe who gets the 1 seed, because they and the Eagles are competing for that spot with 2 losses apiece. And the Rams came out and got it.
Yeah, credit to the Rams because they've been great. This was the first game in 5 weeks that Matt Stafford didn't throw 4 touchdowns with no interceptions.
Wow.
He was just ordinary good in this game. It was still enough because, as you said, Sam Darnold threw 4 picks. I loved it for my fantasy team, but AJ Barner caught 10 passes in that game for the Seattle Seahawks.
Who?
It's a guy that I never heard his name
is
going
he like
into
their
the
tight
season.
end?
He's their tight
Yeah.
end.
Oh.
He's appeared in 3 different people's lineups in our league this season, including mine now.
I thought about picking him up, but I
So
didn't.
they just couldn't seem to get Jackson Smith and Jigba involved. They were trying to target him.
He had 100 yards.
It still wasn't enough.
Well, no, because the quarterback threw the ball away 4
Yeah.
times. But I'm not going to blame JSN.
Well, no. I was not saying that to blame him. I was saying that there were a lot of times where they were trying to get the ball to him, and Darnold was not successful in doing so. I mean, a lot of those yards came on 2 different catches went for a big gain.
9 receptions for 105 yards and also had an 11-yard rush.
okay.
So, JSN is a staple.
Oh, he
every
absolutely
week
is.
that dude puts up numbers. I love him. He's so good.
The Seahawks are. I don't even know how to describe the Seahawks.
They're a good football team, but they've got a quarterback that can
Be a
throw
liability.
lot of picks. Yeah, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
We've
We've seen it Sam Darnold's entire career.
We've also seen it. We're seeing it right now, also in the AFC with the Broncos.
Yes.
Right? Like Bo Nix can be a liability with the football. He makes
that's
bad
a
throws.
perfect. That's perfect. The Seahawks are the Broncos of the NFC.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit more like when things go right for their offense. I think they're a little more explosive because of their receivers. I think Darnold's a little bit better of an athlete than Bo Nix is.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I feel like Bo is a guy who uses his legs more because he has to, not so much because he's a freak athlete. Like he's fine.
I still think that he's better at running the ball than Sam Darnold is.
I mean, I'm not even like Sam Darnold's a dual threat, but I would take him the physical talent overall as a quarterback over Bo. Like,
I'm not quite there. I'm not quite there. I agree on the explosiveness of the offense, at least at the receiver position. I think Seattle has the better running backs
and definitely the better receivers.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, like, Cortland Sutton and like Troy Franklin is kind of sort of broken out this season. He's been solid, but no, like they don't compare to
Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah.
No, like I absolutely agree with that. But I think that Bo Nix is the better athlete at quarterback. That doesn't necessarily make up for the lack of surrounding talent. Like, who do the Broncos have right now running back? It's just R.J. Harvey. Do they have anybody else helping out back there? Like Jaleel McLaughlin? Or
they had
whoever?
some guy that I never
was
heard
thinking
of.
Javonte Williams, but he's long gone.
No, he's with the Cowboys and actually playing quite well this season.
Yeah. So, again, these are two teams that are... I mean, Seattle's obviously fallen back into a wild card spot for the time being.
Yeah.
But they're both teams that look the part of a championship contender, if not for the question mark at the quarterback position, right? Like you're not going to convince me that erratic quarterbacks can put together 3 or 4 good playoff wins and win a Super Bowl.
The Seahawks are the more put together team. Like I'm not going to say they have a 0.0% chance of making the Super Bowl. I think that it's going to be a lot tougher for them from the standpoint of there's more really good teams in the NFC that I trust to perform well in at least one playoff game to prevent them from making it there. But they have more competition in the NFC than the Broncos have in the AFC. And yet I still don't think the Broncos have a chance of making it to the Super Bowl.
I don't know. I feel like if you get people in Denver, that weird altitude situation, it's a big home field advantage. I'm not saying I believe in Denver. I'm just not going to completely write them off in the AFC.
Fair enough.
Evan, do you have anything else on
No,
Rams? Did you watch any of this one?
No, because it was at 4:00 when the Ravens were playing.
On the Ravens.
Yeah.
I was watching all of these games because I was at Looney's and people were going nuts over the Ravens. I'm like, yeah, but shut up. I'm trying to watch this other game that's really cool. Not your Browns-Ravens game where y'all should be winning by 14 to 17 points and y'all are about to lose. But anyway, let's talk Bills-Bucks because that was, again, Jekyll and Hyde performance from Buffalo. We talked about that a little bit or Corey did at least, about how the Bills, they lose to the Dolphins and then they play, I shouldn't say they. Josh Allen plays the biggest game of his season so far. It's absolutely a one-man show here because it wasn't like the Bucks didn't show up, right? Like their offense put up points. Sean Tucker, whoever he is, has decided he's just going to be a beast. He had 1 million touchdowns.
He's like their third-string running back.
Oh, I thought he was a rapper.
He might be, but he's also a running back for the Bucks. But yeah, so this was just an impressive win for the Bills to be able to get this done because again the Bucks came to play a little bit. Baker was not perfect in this game. He's been a little bit less than the MVP form we saw early in the season, and the Bucks are now 6-4 or 6-5,
something like that.
I think 6-5. I don't think they've had their bye week yet.
I think there's still a lock to win their terrible division.
Oh yeah, because their competition is the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
No, 6-4. You were right.
So, but they play the Rams this week, which we'll get to. It feels like every week the Bucks are playing a really good team, even though they play in this crappy division. It's kind of bizarre.
I assume the division games are backloaded.
Well,
yeah,
that's what happens.
2 games against
when you
the Panthers
play a first place schedule.
Sure.
And you're in the bad division. That means that the other first place teams are all really good.
Yeah, and so you're sitting there waiting to get the Saints again. waiting to get the Panthers twice because
Smiling like
Except
Bruce
that,
from
do you
Finding
really
Nemo.
want the Panthers? Because the Panthers right now are only half a game behind the Buccaneers.
You want the Panthers.
If I'm the
Come
Bucs,
on.
I'm taking that personally.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan, when people said that Clyde Drexler was better than him, it's like no, that's
I never said that the Panthers are better than the Bucks.
they're not close to as good. They're gonna get smoked.
I'm just saying, if the Bucks lose the coin toss, it's over.
Apparently. But they're going to win the coin toss because they're going to win the game. I'm doing the opposite. Right? I'm doing the chicken versus the egg here.
The Panthers aren't a serious team for playoff contention, right? They beat the Falcons. They swept the Falcons, who were just pathetic. I don't know what their deal is. The Falcons should be better. I don't know how the Falcons beat the Bills, but then lost to the Panthers 30-0.
And then lost to them again.
And then lost at home to the Panthers. Yeah. A lot of people dressed as red seats at that game.
The Falcons also traded away their first-round pick for this coming draft. They traded up with the Rams to grab some pass rusher, and they're 3-7. So it's not going great.
They traded that pick to the Rams.
Yeah, so the Rams are going to get probably like a top 7 or 8 pick.
They jumped the
draft.
Ravens in the draft to
Yeah.
snipe this pass rusher who's apparently not that effective because they can't win any games.
Well, but they do have a good pass defense. They have gotten to the quarterback, but clearly that hasn't made a difference. They blow every game they play pretty
And
much.
now they're probably going to be starting Kirk Cousins again because Michael Penix Jr. is hurt.
I mean, we knew that about Michael Penix when he got drafted. There's a reason he played college football for 15 years. I mean,
Yes.
come on.
And now Drake London is also hurt.
Yeah, they're done.
Like in the first Big Ten game in 2020, that was a Michael Penix start when he was at Indiana.
Yeah.
And they beat Ohio State.
Was that his first start?
I don't know. I'd never heard of him till that night. And his name is spelled weird.
And he's beating Ohio State. So
and they
it was
beat
a
Ohio
huge
State.
deal.
Yeah.
Like he had that touchdown run where he just barely touched the pylon.
Maybe.
Yeah. Allegedly. Like it was very questionable. But anyway. But let's talk about the Bills a little bit more because that was, big win for them to get off the schneid after losing to the friggin' Dolphins. Like that's just hard to come back from that. But it does keep them in the division race because the Patriots are only a game up on them. Patriots' schedule is just unbelievably easy.
Yes.
But they do have to play the Bills again. But honestly, I'd be worried if I'm a Bills fan about facing the Patriots not only in that game but in the playoffs because the Patriots do the one thing pretty well that the Bills can't do, which is stop the run. And the Bills love to run the football, and the Patriots are excellent against the run. So I just don't think that's a great matchup for Buffalo.
So the Patriots are 9-2. You want to take a wild guess what stadiums their 2 losses were in?
They lost in Miami.
They lost in Vegas.
No, they lost at home to Vegas.
They lost at Gillette Stadium.
And Gillette
Stadium. They lost at Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, they lost to the Steelers, yeah.
They're 5-0 on the road right now.
Yeah, the Bills' win on the road was big. That was a huge win for them. For not just for
That's their other road
the
wins
Bills'
against.
only home loss this season.
Yeah, like that's a huge.
They beat
win
the
for
Titans.
The program. Yeah,
right?
they beat the Titans on the road. Who cares? They went to Miami and won, I think.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
which
really
is
impressive.
which is big from the standpoint of New England has historically not done well when playing in
okay,
Miami.
but Tom Brady's not walking through that door. So,
they're better without Tom
Yes,
Brady.
In Miami, apparently.
Who would want Tom Brady on the team, right? And that was a weird game too. Like they should have lost that game.
Where else did they go? Cleveland,
I think they went to New Orleans.
New Orleans. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
New Orleans.
marquee wins galore here.
Notorious tough places to play against these. Well, I guess New Orleans is a tough place to play, but the team they're playing sucks.
Like typically the reason the place is tough to play is because you're playing the opponent that's good.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, it's so hard to play in Cameron North. Yeah, that's because you have to play the Duke Blue Devils. Okay. If I grabbed a bunch of Boy Scouts down and just sent them down there playing Cameron North, they'd probably lose.
Yeah.
Okay. They wouldn't.
And they'd
win.
say the building is ugly too. So
Because it is, and Sasquatch want me to piss on the floor. So, anyway,
that building is ugly.
Corey almost got married there,
Ugh.
or tried to.
Oh no.
Rashonda told me that you guys inquired about potentially having your wedding ceremony or reception.
I think the
at
reception.
Cameron
I
Indoor.
don't think
Oh,
the
no.
ceremony.
I don't know if I would have gone. I'm just kidding.
I might not have made it to that one.
That would have been brutal.
I was there. I was there at the reception physically. So
Oh yeah, we know, but you were mentally somewhere else because you were bombed.
Lost in the sauce.
Yes, absolutely lost in the sauce. All right, so let's get to Week 12. I wrote down 3 games. Nobody seemed to have any objection.
No, I didn't.
So
Also didn't read them.
let's lead into Bucks Rams because again, the Bucks seem like they're always playing tough games lately.
On the road
This
too.
is on the road in SoFi, and I mean I don't know, man. The Rams just feel like a more complete team, and they're playing better. Matthew Stafford, MVP caliber year so far, like sort of a career-defining season for him because like I've talked about his. People have discussed his Hall of Fame resume, and I thought, what Hall of Fame resume? Like, he won 1 Super Bowl, he's made, like, 2 Pro Bowls, who cares? But if he has, like, this late career run where he's, potentially an MVP, or if Corey gets his way and Jonathan Taylor wins the MVP, he still probably could be the first-team All-Pro selection. That's pretty big for the resume, and...
I agree.
And if he puts together another playoff run, like we're talking about a guy who could
Super Bowl again.
Yeah, fill out. He could fill out a Hall of Fame resume here. So he's balling out. Baker again, he's pulled back a little bit, but it's still been great. But again, like it feels like the Rams every week. It feels like the Rams need the game more because they've got to stay a leg up on Seattle. Whereas the Bucks, if they lose, they play the Panthers twice. And those are going to be 2 wins. And they play the Saints, and that's going to be a win. They're going to be fine. They're going to win that crappy division, and they'll probably end up being the 4 seed. So I think the Rams are going to, I don't know if they'll roll, but I think they're going to end up winning this game.
I think the Rams win as well. I completely agree with everything you said.
Yeah,
It's
so if the Rams were to make it to the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford would be playing in the Super Bowl a day after his 38th birthday. So he would be barely still 37 when he wins the MVP, if he does, in fact, win it. It would make him the second oldest MVP in NFL history.
Tom Brady was the oldest.
Tom Brady obviously won it when he was 40. 4 other people won it when they were 37 years old, but not like 37 in 360 days, the way that
was Peyton Manning
Matthew
one
Stafford
of those?
would be.
was
Peyton Manning was one of
37,
them.
yeah.
He was 37. Aaron Rodgers was 37.
I was about to say Y.A. Tittle.
Wyatt Tittle was 37.
Oh, really?
And Rich Gannon was 37.
Yeah. That's it.
Y.A. Tittle. Look at
Y.A.
that.
Tittle.
Yes.
Giants legend Y.A. Tittle.
Yeah.
Who went bald.
Like Jim McMahon did. Dude was bald the whole time. Like Terry Bradshaw too. That man was bald when he was 21. Like just no hair.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk a little Steelers-Bears fraud bowl
Ooh.
because both of these teams currently occupy playoff spots, and I'd be surprised if either makes the playoffs. Like just being real with you.
The Bears are absolutely less fraudulent than the Steelers are, though.
I think so. I think
I agree with
The
that.
Bears have a lot of talent on their team.
They have an issue just putting it all together.
Yes.
That's why they have a new coach this year.
Yes. But they have been looking much more together over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, they played the
at
Giants.
this point, they're a team that I'm nervous about facing. Caleb Williams, he hasn't been great this latest stretch, and yet the team is still winning games. And he can have good games. Like it's not like he doesn't have any good games. He's just inconsistent. When he has good games, though, this team, I'm not going to say they're unbeatable, but they are really, really hard to beat when he has good games. When he has bad games, they're tough to beat. Like, they're definitely less fraudulent than the Steelers. I think the Bears make the playoffs. I don't know if they make any kind of a playoff run, but I have a hard time looking at some of the other bubble teams saying, no, this team will definitely get in over the Bears.
One of those
think
bubble teams
Green
is
Bay-
your Detroit Lions, Corey.
The Lions are going to be in there. I think the Bears could be the 3rd team in the division and still make it. Like the Vikings are not. The Vikings are done.
I think the Vikings are
the Vikings
toast.
are done. The Vikings are like 1-5 at home.
Ew.
Yeah, they've been brutal.
They're not making the playoffs. They're not getting out of the bottom spot.
Well, they just lost to the Bears.
And so
that's no good.
Yeah. So I think you're going to see potentially 3 teams from the NFC North make it.
So here's Chicago's.
I have more questions about the Packers right now than I have about the Bears.
Packers are
They're
kinda,
shaky, too.
They're bad. Like they look like a not good football.
Especially depending on how serious this knee contusion is for Josh Jacobs. It sounds like there's a chance he plays this week, but is he going to be effective for the next few weeks? And if he isn't, what does that mean for their offense? Like, is Emmanuel Wilson supposed to just all of a sudden take over that load at running back and be as effective in the run game?
That could be anybody.
Highly doubt it.
I think the Tucker Kraft injury was
that was
destructive,
definitely destructive. If Josh Jacobs is less than 90%, like that's catastrophic when you combine it with Kraft being out for the year.
So the Bears' schedule, they're playing Pittsburgh this week, as we've discussed. Then they're at Philly on a short week. That's a Friday game. That's the Black Friday game.
Okay.
They're getting clobbered.
Yeah, they're going to lose that game.
And that's in Philly.
Yes.
And those people have been drinking Bud Lights for like 4 days in the parking lot. They're getting
Just
clobbered.
trying to avoid their families.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not
maybe
gonna
their
go well.
families are avoiding them.
Yeah. And then they go to Lambeau after that.
Clobbered.
That one I'm not
See,
so
that's
sure
sort of the
about.
wild card
That's-
here is
yeah.
how good are the Packers and how do the Packers set up?
Now, if it is really just a knee contusion, I would think that Josh Jacobs should be okay at least by that game, and
Sure.
so maybe the Packers are at strength minus Tucker Kraft, and they can win with the home field advantage. But that one feels more of a toss up than the Eagles one does.
And then they host Cleveland. That's a win.
Yeah.
And they host Green Bay.
Again, toss up, but I mean, if I'm calling a toss up, I'm saying that they're probably going to split those two games.
And then they go
Try
to
different
San
chest,
Francisco.
different toss. L.
Probably an L.
And then they play your Detroit Lions. in
L.
week 18.
Hopefully an L.
Well, y'all rolled them the first time.
We
so
did.
I'm just saying there's a lot of losses potentially on the schedule. Like they could
okay,
drop quite a
okay,
few games. So
okay.
it's not even so much that I was hating on them as a team.
No, that's
It's
fair.
that
I hadn't looked at their rest of season schedule, so that maybe that does
I think it's a little
end
iffy.
up bumping them out. But
But
they're definitely a better team than the Steelers. The Steelers are.
And they've got a better chance to make the playoffs than the Steelers because the Steelers only have one path to the playoffs, which is winning the division. They're
Right.
not getting a wild card.
No.
They're going to lose 3 more games this year.
Right.
It's just a matter of, is Baltimore going to step up and take it from them?
And could the Bengals somehow sneak into that mix
No.
too? That's the other question because
No.
The Bengals weren't very good when Joe Burrow was out there.
Only 2 games behind the Ravens, and the Steelers would have to come back a game to the Ravens already. If Joe Burrow comes back next week the way that they're expecting him to,
On Thanksgiving.
yeah, they're expecting him on Thanksgiving.
And they're going to lose. The Bengals never beat the Ravens when Lamar's healthy. Okay, that doesn't happen. So no, like
They have
the worst they have the worst defense that I've ever seen, and I root for the New Orleans Saints. So no, the Bengals are not in the conversation. My goodness, no. Tired of the Bengals? No, they're done.
All right. Well, in any case, like the Steelers' defense is not what we are used to seeing.
And Aaron Rodgers is hurt, by the way.
And that doesn't move the needle for me. I think Mason Rudolph is just as effective as Aaron Rodgers is right now.
Okay, I feel like that's
I mean, it might be true that you think that, but it's not true. Okay? That is ridiculous, sir.
You're gonna have to write that one.
Yes, I'm writing that down right now.
Goodness gracious. Mason Rudolph is just as good as Aaron Rodgers. At what exactly?
Well, they probably have similar political views.
Oh, dear.
All right, so Fraud Bowl discussed. Let's move on to the final game to discuss, which is I'm filibustering because I can't find it right now, but I already forgot what it was.
It's Colts Chiefs.
Colts Chiefs, yes.
Oh,
This is kind of a bellwether game because I feel like if the Chiefs lose this, that would legitimately open the door for them not making the playoffs.
That would put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
in my
They
opinion.
can't be 5-6. That's not gonna work.
No.
But the Colts have been in this position before where they were riding high and everybody said, ooh, the Colts, look at them. They go on the road and face a pretty desperate team that was smarting after an ugly loss, and then they crap their pants.
So here's the one
This
thing
game
I
is
will
in Kansas
say.
City, I'm sure.
It's always in
Yes,
Kansas
of course.
City.
The
Kansas
Chiefs
City
have,
does not
like-
play good teams on the road in the regular season. Where have you been?
The Chiefs have 7 games, and I looked this up. The Chiefs play the Colts at home. They play the Texans at home. They've got their Broncos and Chargers games at home. Their road opponents left are the Titans, the Raiders, and I forgot who the other one was, but it was another bad team. Like
The Jags or somebody.
No, they already lost to the Jags.
They already went to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
So
lost.
the one thing I
Cleveland?
will say,
No, it's not Cleveland.
a little bit different for the Colts than what we've seen in the past. I don't know if they're really riding that high because they're coming off a loss to Pittsburgh
Where they look pathetic.
where they looked pathetic and a barely win in an international game against the Falcons, the 3-7 Falcons.
That's true.
Like needed overtime. Almost didn't even get to overtime. And then they have a bye, right? So they're coming off of 2 underwhelming games, and then they have the extra week to prepare for this game. I think they have a better shot than they normally have had in these games that we're used to seeing them just blow after looking good for a while.
Well, and by them, I don't mean the Colts. I mean teams similar to the Colts, where they have this quarterback that we all agree sucks, but is balling. Because the Colts, as a franchise, haven't been necessarily fraudulent. It's just we feel that they might be this year.
They almost moved again.
What does that have to do with fraudulent? They were just bad. Like they just
Yeah,
weren't,
no,
they just
like,
weren't
when-
good.
when
They've
they've
never
been
faked
good,
us out.
they've never been fake good before.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
Yeah, they've just been
They're
bad.
either good or they're bad.
Yeah,
I
they've
mean-
been pretty honest with us.
This is the first year that I can think of that they might be fake good.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% convinced that is
I'm
the
not
case. I think that they're a good team with a
I
bad
don't-
quarterback who's been overperforming, but can be covered up by very good players around him. Like
I don't think
Michael
the Colts
Pittman
are very
is
good.
Josh Downs is solid. Alec Pierce has been really good. Tyler Warren is legitimate. And again, Jonathan Taylor is the MVP.
I think the Colts get exposed in this game. Like,
I mean, again,
It's hard to. I mean, if they were to lose to the Chiefs, it's hard to call it being exposed unless they get absolutely obliterated. I'm talking like 40-6 obliterated. The way that the Colts
lost the Chiefs lost the
way
Super
that.
Bowl in effectiveness.
Well, no, I was going to say the way that the Colts beat the Raiders earlier this season, 40-6.
Okay, well
that
whatever.
game shouldn't have been on TV.
This probably shouldn't have happened for
Yes.
the sake of everyone.
The Raiders should be relegated to the Pac-12.
So the thing about the
Pac-12
Chiefs
needs teams.
the thing
They
about
do.
They need bodies.
The thing about the Chiefs this year is they lost their opener against the Chargers in Mexico City where they played.
That was in Brazil.
Oh, it was
No,
Brazil.
Brazil
I'm
was
sorry.
the Eagles game.
That was last year.
That was last year. Packers Eagles.
Where
I thought Eagles
it was Sao Paulo.
Cowboys was in Brazil this year.
No. Anyway, Chargers.
the Eagles are playing the Cowboys this week.
No,
And they played them in
played
week
them twice,
one
though.
in
They played them-
Philly.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was their Super Bowl defense
Okay.
thing. And Jalen Carter spit on Dak and got kicked out of the game.
Nobody saw that. Right? The most watched television program in history.
Yes. Anyway, so they lose to the Chargers, and then they host the Eagles and lose that game. So they're 0-2. Then they beat the Giants, who cares? But it's like 1-2, backs up against the wall, and they get Baltimore, who we found out later stinks, but they club them. Then they lose that pretty embarrassing game to the Jaguars to fall to 2-3. Get back up against the wall. They club your Lions. And then they beat on the Raiders, who suck. They take advantage of the beat-up commodes with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Then they go to Buffalo and lose. Then they have a bye week. Andy Reid, legendary bye week guy. Lose to Denver. Their backs are up against the
They
wall.
lost coming up off the
Yes.
Chiefs lost off
They
a
were
bye?
off a bye.
Oh.
And their backs are against the wall, and they're at home playing a team that is possibly good enough to beat them. It feels like they're going to win the game. Like,
Yeah.
it does. I don't see another scenario. And by the way, the third road team they face is the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. So
Oh, God.
0% chance they lose that game.
Gonna have to talk to your family and stuff instead.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Instead of watching that.
So, but we'll see how this goes. Because again, the Colts again, the Chiefs need this way more than the Colts do. But this is absolutely a kitchen sink game because again, if they lose this game, they are in serious danger of missing the postseason. All right, so that does it for football for this week. So before we get rolling, we got a little bit more time, and I thought it was nice to discuss a little baseball.
Sure.
It's been a couple weeks since the World Series concluded, but we announced MVPs, and by we I mean Major League Baseball. I don't know why I said we. I'm not part of Major League Baseball. Maybe I should be.
I wish we should get votes over some of the people who get votes.
But it is a
They also should have an award show.
It's a double repeat, both
Yes, it is.
National League and American League. Shohei Ohtani unanimously selected as MVP in the National League, And Aaron Judge wins his third MVP.
His third
Something
MVP,
like that, yeah.
second in a row.
So he repeats in the AL, but his win was much closer. 17-13 was the final vote tally between him and Cal Raleigh. And there was some conversation, including in our baseball chat, by our esteemed Stephen April, feeling that Cal Raleigh got robbed. So, Corey, I open the floor to you, sir. Defend your boy.
All right. The difference in WAR for the season, wins above replacement, between Aaron Judge and the number 2 player across all of baseball is the same as the difference between number 2 and number 10. That's how much better than everybody else Aaron Judge was this year. Number 2 in baseball was not Cal Raleigh.
Shohei Ohtani.
It wasn't Shohei Ohtani either.
Wasn't
it was
him?
Christopher Sanchez.
Who?
Number 3, also not Cal Raleigh.
Who's Christopher Sanchez?
He's a reliever for the Phillies.
A relief pitcher
I'm sorry,
was
no,
number
I'm sorry,
2?
no. He's a starter.
No chance he's a relief
Yeah,
pitcher.
sorry. He's a starter for the Phillies.
Is this Sixto Sanchez?
No. Is Sixto Sanchez still in the league?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Number 3, that was Shohei Ohtani. Number 4, not Cal Raleigh. That was Paul Skeens.
Oh.
Cal Raleigh was number 5. Very good. He was number 2 in the American League. But the difference between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh is the same as the difference between Cal Raleigh and, let's see here, what's 7.3 minus 2.4? We're talking, at that point, 4.9. Is that right? Did I do that math
Yeah,
correctly?
you got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the same as
done.
between number 5 and number 36. See, I'm better on the math now. I've learned
okay.
since the early days of this show.
Since working at a school for 10 years.
Number 5 to number 36 in wins above replacement. That's how much better than Cal Raleigh Aaron Judge was. Don't get me wrong, Cal Raleigh deserved some consideration. He did something that no catcher's ever done before. That's awesome. That doesn't make him the most valuable player in the American League.
So
It just makes him the most valuable catcher that we've ever seen in a season. No knock on that.
Well, that's probably not true if you go by WAR, because Johnny Bench definitely had seasons better than that.
True.
Pudge might have had better seasons
But
too.
Yogi Berra or Roy
At
Campanella
most,
or
that's what
something.
it means.
Yeah, sure. So, I kind of looked at this and I thought, this feels like Mike Trout died so Aaron Judge could live, because Mike Trout should have probably won every MVP award for 6 straight years. His
Did
first,
he get hurt this year? I don't remember anything
think he
about him
did.
this season.
he might have gotten banged up, but he wasn't as hurt as he's
No,
been.
no.
But
Okay.
he also the injuries have piled up for him. He's still a pretty good player, but not what he used to be. But his rookie year, like 2012, he had by far and away the best wins above replacement in baseball. But the voters opted to give Miguel Cabrera the award. Why? Because Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown. He had some fancy counting numbers, and they said that's cooler. And then the next year, Miguel Cabrera did not win the Triple Crown, and Mike Trout once again outpaced him in wins above replacement. But Miguel Cabrera once again won the MVP. Trout won the MVP in 2014. He lost to Josh Donaldson in 2015, even though Trout again cleared Donaldson by a hefty margin in WAR. He won it in 2016. So, and then he later on won it in 2018 as well. Aaron Judge, the whole race basically came down to what you just did, Corey. Look at his WAR. Look at how much better he is than everybody. Like, it took people a little while to realize, holy crap, this Mike Trout dude's so much better than everybody else, and we missed the boat for what unfortunately was the meat of his career, because he's been so injury prone, since he hit like his late 20s. And so now people are kind of more up to date on how these stats work. The one area that I wish people kind of drilled down on here, though, was wins above replacement, both if you use Fangraphs or Baseball Reference. Fangraphs is a little more favorable towards Raleigh in this case. Both of them have historically been underappreciative of catchers. Like, the threshold for what a good catcher is in terms of wins above replacement is lower than any other position, and it's bizarre why that's the case. If you wanted to make the argument for Raleigh, you could point out WAR has never done catchers justice, and maybe that could boost him up. But nobody did that. I think I'm the only person in the world that thought about that. Was like, catchers, they get kind of screwed by this stat a little bit, because like the way they handle it, like for positional adjustments, they have an arbitrary difference. So you get like 12 runs for being a catcher, and you lose 7 runs for being a corner outfielder. That's just sort of the trade-off. But who the hell came up with that number? And does that change? Does it fluctuate?
Right.
Is it really the case for 200 years of baseball? Is that just consistently a thing? Or do we just say, hey, this sounds good, and we just threw it together? I don't know. So that's sort of where you could have presented an argument. Instead, people were kind of like, oh, he hit 60 home runs. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Aaron Judge won the batting title and hit 53. That's
Only
a better
53.
That's a better hitting season than what Raleigh did. I'm sorry, it just is. And I feel like there was more intrigue in kind of getting into that. I also think that Raleigh looked like he was going to win the award when he hit his 60th home run, but he hit it on like a Thursday. And there was a whole weekend of baseball where people were hoping to see him get to 62 or 63, and he didn't hit any more home runs. So people forgot, the air went out of the balloon there, and the voters said, that Judge guy was better. So they gave it to him, and I think he deserved it. I think both guys deserved it, and
Yeah.
you could have gone either way.
Yeah,
but
I have no problem with people voting for Raleigh, but I think that the right person won.
I agree.
I agree with that too. Citing the war argument, I feel like I might have voted for Cal Raleigh in the, got sucked into the narrative, right? The, carrying the Mariners on his, wide hips, if you will. But like Aaron Judge, wasn't he batting like 400 a good bit into the season?
It took him a while to not be batting 400.
Yeah. It was like mid-May or something, and he was still batting 400.
Again,
That is insane.
I emphasize he won the batting title.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Winning the batting title and hitting 50 home runs, that's MVP material right there. I don't know what Cal Raleigh's batting average was.
It wasn't that.
It was it was decent but not great. It was like 260 something.
Oh, okay.
But again, like he
He hit 247.
247.
I oversold him a little.
Yep, 247 with a 948 OPS,
Which is great.
which is great.
That was Chris Davis in 2013.
Aaron Judge was 331.
331.
With a 1144 OPS.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
200 points more.
For the whole year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Like we
Imagine 2013 Chris Davis if he batted 331.
and he played the outfield instead of first base.
Yeah. Like
Right?
that's
So, I mean, it speaks for itself. Judge
like-
was incredible, and I
that's
think
some-
people are taking it for granted a little bit.
is that a
because
Barry Bonds level season? Like
Aaron Judge is just shy of roided up Bonds in terms of how prolific he is in terms of OPS. Right? Like he's consistently spitting out 10, 11 WAR seasons.
Which is crazy because, we everybody and their mother knows that Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before the roids.
yeah.
And yet he was better with the roids.
Distinctly better.
That's how that usually works.
And in his
that's
late
Aaron
30s,
Judge,
yes.
basically.
Yes. So what you're saying is Aaron Judge is on steroids.
I hope to God not, because I don't think I could handle that.
That would be all right. So just a quick hot take question: would you rather find out that Aaron Judge is on steroids or that Derek Jeter used steroids?
I'd rather find out that Derek Jeter was on steroids.
Because he's not still playing.
Yeah, but
It doesn't mean anything.
Because as much as I really liked and respected Jeter as a player, and would have just been devastated if I found out that he was, using steroids. He can be a little bit of a dick, We've kind of, he's not as likable post career, and he may not have been likable to a lot of non-Yankees fans anyway. I really don't know.
He was unlikable. You just didn't get a gift basket from him. That's what happened.
I find him less likable now than I did when he was a player on my team.
Because he's
And
a
so if I
talking
was to
head.
find out, he was on steroids, I'd be like, that's disappointing. But
I hated Derek Jeter far more than I dislike Aaron Judge, despite the fact that Aaron Judge is a much better player than Derek Jeter was. Like, Derek Jeter was among a crew of Yankees that kicked the crap out of the Orioles. Okay. Aaron Judge singularly kicks the crap out of the Orioles every year. And I still say, that guy's cool. Like, I kind of like him, So
He hit like half his career home runs against the Orioles in
feels
2017.
like it.
Like one of them bounced off of the George Steinbrenner sign like 600 feet away from home plate.
it just never stops.
Outrageous,
It just never stops.
right? The Orioles go up there and lose 16-2.
We had to repurpose our stadium and make it ugly because of Aaron Judge. We didn't do that for Derek Jeter. Come on. All right.
Ugh, jeez.
All right, so that takes us to the end of our topics, which means we are all but done here. So before we get rolling, fellas, do we have any shout-outs?
Let's see. Shout out to all the workers at all the parks I went to last week. Some of them which we went to, Eric. So at Universal and at SeaWorld and at Busch Gardens. Shout out to the bus driver from Orlando to Tampa on the shuttle bus provided by Busch Gardens for sitting in all that I-4 traffic. That was pretty great. And shout out to you, Eric, for, hanging with me through the miles and miles of walking and hours of standing in line for some dumb ride. It was had an incredible time last week. One of my top vacations of my entire life. And gonna need to start putting some money aside to do it again.
Yeah, it was funny you said shout out to me for hanging with you. There were moments where I was like, I feel like Evan's more hanging with me. You were dying in line, dude. You were struggling.
That was
all that
brutal.
I was like, yeah, I'm feeling it, but this guy's cooked, man. I was like, I didn't think I would see the day.
I couldn't tell exactly what the picture was of at first. I thought that you were like bent over a bar table, like with a drink at your side.
Well, that happened earlier. We went to get a beer before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before I revealed that the ride had opened, and we ran over there along with everybody else in the park and stood in a 4-hour line. So,
and that still wasn't the longest line I've ever waited in for a ride.
It's insane.
Somehow.
All right, Corey, what do you got?
Shout out to the staff for our football broadcast on Friday. It was the first time that DM Stags TV has ever broadcasted a playoff WCAC game.
Playoffs?
That was very stressful leading up to the game, just trying to figure everything out and make sure that logistically everything was going to look good, and people were going to be paying to watch this stream, and so we wanted to make sure that it was up to standard, and everybody really went all in on making it a great a great product, I think. So Jordan Gill was our producer. He was handling the computer and everything. Eric, you were doing the play-by-play as you've been doing all season. As soon as they told us that we were going to be doing that game, it was like, man, I hope that he might be back in time. I don't know if he's going to be back in town for it, but if we can have him, got to be Eric. Scott Sicko did the color commentary as he's done for most of the games this season. He's been great. You guys have developed great chemistry. I was doing the switchboard, and then we had some students who were on the cameras, and they did a great job. Michael Douglas was mostly handling communication between me and the camera operators, but Eli Carmona did a great job on the main cam. I don't think he missed a play all night. Did a great job following the ball, something that has been challenging for a lot of our students. And then Malik Menzie did a really good job on the secondary camera. Had some really nice shots, good zoom technique, found the ref quickly on flags. It may have been the best broadcast that DM Stags TV has ever had. So I was really proud of that effort and really glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, everything felt smooth. It was. I said it in the chat. The whole night was a vibe. Like, it felt like every that was doing what we were doing was cooking.
Yeah, and then shout out to the team.
The team was great.
Absolutely obliterated the cadets, St. John's. We finally got a chance to use their touchdown graph at the end, and then it got called off for a penalty. Like, we handed to them. So
which ended the game because of the running clock. So the game was just over at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was great. Somebody accidentally handed me a sideline pass, and I didn't make use of it. I told you about that when I said I was I said I was calling the game. I think they misunderstood that maybe I was a ref. And so they gave me a sideline pass. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to have this, but
you should have just gone in.
Yeah, and
just put the zebra stripes on, and
yeah. So
get
a yellow hanky.
The actual refs.
So where's Eric? He's on the field.
Yeah,
what's he doing?
Holding St. John's.
Yeah,
whoever it was.
Yes.
Every play.
Yes, and,
all of y'all.
Again, notable that Tamatha a few weeks ago hosted St. John's and
needed overtime to beat them.
Needed overtime to win. Came back from an 8-point deficit. Not necessary this time. 42-0 drubbing. So they will host Gonzaga in the championship game on Sunday at Naval Academy. So
that's this week.
Yeah, it's on Sunday.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go. But yeah, so that was great. Again, thank you, Corey, for letting me participate in these shenanigans because it's a lot of fun and I'm kind of enjoying it.
You do a great job.
Yeah, it's become somewhere I'm like, I think I'm getting better at this. So So my shout out is to the entire staff at the Cabana Bay resort that Evan and I stayed at. Not only for being very hospitable towards us for the few days that we were there, along with midnight room service with giant pizzas and not so big pieces of cake, but but also because they carried my sorry ass from one of the most inept moments of my life, where I removed my NASA PIV card from my computer because I brought my computer down just to run the daily reports that I do. But normally when I take it out of my computer, I put it in my wallet. Not the case this time. I left it somewhere in the bedroom, and so I'm in the Uber to go to the airport. I look into my wallet, and I see my NASA badge isn't there, and I'm like, okay, as soon as I get out of this car, I've got to grab my backpack, see if it's in my computer. It wasn't there. So I had the Cabana Bay phone number dialed up, all ready to go as soon as I hopped out, and they said they had it. I went back, Ubered back. Security took care of it. The new Uber I called to go back to the airport pulls up right as I'm about to collect it. A guy comes in, there's an Uber for Eric. Like, everybody was on point. I'm like, I'm just this idiot who forgot his badge, and this whole operation. The
universe is just working for you. It's like Carol in Pluribus.
Exactly. Just everything's cooking on my behalf because I'm a moron and left my card. And I got back to the airport, had TSA pre-check, still had time to eat at the airport and fly home. It was delightfully stress-free despite being extremely stressful, right? Like, it was really something else how I was like, wow, this one dummy had to be carried by at least like 8 different people, including the Uber driver. Shout out to them too. So that was quite an adventure, and it was an interesting way to finish up a really fun week at Orlando. So,
and I was still at Islands of Adventure.
He was riding Velocicoaster.
I was riding Velocicoaster 6 more times.
Speaking of which, I was tempted to ride one more time, but I chose not to because I was like, what if the ride breaks down and I'm stuck on this train for 20 minutes and now I'm late to the airport? So I left a little earlier, and I'm really glad I did, or else I would have been completely screwed. I either would have had to miss my flight or I would have had to leave my badge in Orlando. Down? Well, no, because
you needed extra time to go to the airport
twice. Extra hours. Yeah. So yeah, like it was really. I'm glad I thought ahead at least for that. So that was quite something. I was stuffing a toothless pillow, like toothless from Train Dragon, into my backpack, which is why I wanted to create room by removing the card, and I didn't want to crumple it up. And it was worth it though, because
toothless came back to bite you. Huh?
Yes,
it's a cool pillow.
Yes. All right. So that does it for our show. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can reach us at thesportsballers@gmail.com. I definitely messed that up 2 weeks ago. I think I just said thesportsballers.com.
You said a whole bunch of stuff.
thesportsballers.com, you can find us. Our website is there.
Our website is thesportsballers.com.
Is that where the Weekly Whiz is?
Yes. That's where you can find the Weekly Whiz.
You should read it.
I should read it.
I mean, you'll get something out of it because I'm usually pretty snarky because
the Wizards are pathetic.
How else could you put up with watching a team that has lost 11 games in a row?
I mean, I was laying in the adjacent bed while Eric was writing the Weekly Whiz.
After watching on Peacock where they were playing the Pistons and blowing the game.
After they lost spectacularly somehow. Mm-hmm. They're up by like 8 with a minute left. And then went to overtime.
And lost in overtime, yeah. It was ugly. But anyway, you can reach us at thesportsballers@gmail.com if you want to give us feedback or have any topic ideas for us to discuss. We are happy to listen to you. Again, you can also check out our website, thesportsballers.com, read the Weekly Whiz, read Corey's fantasy football updates, and whatever else we decide to put on there. You can also follow us on Twitter. I am at Quagmire67. Corey is at Corey Puffett. It's over, Evan. It's over. You did it. This is your fault.
How is it my fault?
You put it on the chat.
I didn't make that up.
Evan_Ash13. And you can also follow the Sports Ballers Twitter at SportsBallers18.
It's Mike Loxley's fault.
Yeah.
Maryland looks doomed to go 6-7 at best.
Yes. Well, we're not doing that this year. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I will not be here next week. It will be, speaking of Weekly Whiz, next week is Zard's night. I'm heading to the Wizards game next Tuesday to collect some pajama pants because they're giving those away.
Because the Wizards are snoozing through the season. Mm-hmm. So
it'll be you and me.
Okay. I'm going to have to.
We'll be holding the fort down while I'll be slamming beers with Helby and company at Zard's night. So
gonna have to
see if we can get a co-host or like a guest on with us. Maybe Sean will be interested.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll talk to some people. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. See what happens. So I don't know what that's going to be like, but Corey and Evan might. So pay attention to what they've got going on. We'll see what they cook up next week. But until then, take it easy.